I'm on it, Dr. Oz.
I got you, Doc.
I'm on my way.
Meet the Supermarket Squad. All season long, their mission is to change the way you shop for groceries. They'll expose what's really in your favorite products, keep you updated on the hottest products you need to try right now, and of course, how to eat like royalty while cutting down on your bill. Allie Rosen, a nutrition nerd and foodie fanatic, dives deep into the label lies and food truths for your go-to foods. Lynette Calfani-Cox, our savings sleuth. She'll be researching and scouring the store shelves to share ways to beat the system and lower your grocery bill. No coupons required. And our very own culinary titan, Roble Ali, who will bring you the foodie fix you deserve. He'll show us new ways to crank out delicious meals that stretch that dollar like only a chef could. And today, if you want to cut costs but hate coupons, our Supermarket Squad is showing you the biggest budget hacks you need to start using today.
We all desire to save money at the supermarket, but collecting coupons can be time-consuming and it's confusing. It drives me personally crazy, and sometimes you don't even know how to use them. That's why today, the Supermarket Squad is back to reveal the biggest budget hacks for people who detest coupons. They're going to show you how to save on your grocery bill this week with simple, tried and tested budget hacks. And literally, they've been in the grocery store all week investigating. Joining me now is our Supermarket Squad savings sleuth, Lynette Calfani-Cox, and our resident nutrition nerd, Allie Rosen. Love them both. Now, Lynette, how is it possible to save at the grocery store without using those pesky coupons?
Well, the main thing to remember is that coupons are just really one tool in your savings arsenal when you're headed to the grocery store. So, if you're one of those people who's like a coupon ninja, great, have at it, use it to save. But, if you're like the rest of us, you really should know that there are a whole bunch of other savings hacks that can help you when you head to the supermarket. So as you mentioned, Dr. Oz, the Supermarket Squad, we've been out there kind of rounding up tips, making sure that people are getting the best values. And one big takeaway that I want the audience to know is that it's not just about what to buy and when. Honestly, a lot of times it's about knowing what not to buy and when not to buy as well.
All right, let's get to the biggest budget hacks for the mere mortals out there. The Supermarket Squad has put all these ideas to the test. And then first you say we got to avoid gimmicks in the snack aisle.
That's right. You know what? Grocery retailers are notorious for trying to trick us, frankly, for giving us a lot of ways to buy and overspend in ways that if you're not careful, you'll be shelling out way more money than you should. So one of those gimmicks is the sort of, 2 for X kind of deal. So we did this. We looked at, say, chips, for example, and you'll see something like 2 for $7 as an example. And so you're thinking, okay, I have to buy 2 whole big bags of chips in order to get that $7 price. But actually, that's not the case, because we actually took an individual bag of chips to the cash register and voila, $3.50 for a single bag. So the tip here is to only buy what you really need. It won't hurt to, take your smartphone with you and take a picture of that label. So when you're at the cash register, if they try to change the price on you or anything, you've got your proof there. But really, you don't have to over purchase. You should only buy what you need. And that little savings tip that they make it seem like you have to buy in so much volume, but really in many cases you don't.
So Allie, just to Lynette's point, just because there's a sign doesn't mean there is a deal. You've got some real life proof.
Yeah, we went to the grocery store every single day this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the things that were on sale just stayed on sale. Lynette and I were laughing. It was like those stores that say going out of business for years and years. I mean, so if something is on sale, it might stay that way. So check it out.
$10.99, $10.99, $10.99. I mean, I think the price is $10.99. It's on sale. It has been always.
Right, exactly.
Right. The next budget hack that we've got, he argues, is the buy in bulk and freeze. So this is an idea that is not unique, but you've taken it to a new level.
Yes, I mean, the freezer can be your best friend when you're thinking about savings because things go on sale, but they often go on sale in those huge quantities. So you really want to make sure that you're looking for those deals and thinking about whether you can freeze them.
All right, so specifically, Allie has led us into her freezer for the first time. to see exactly how many meals she has to save money on. And this is a lot of cash that's sitting in your freezer there.
Yeah, that's my, very organized freezer there. A little embarrassing to let you in there. But, the thing about the freezer and having meals ready in your freezer is it's not just about the savings that you get when you buy in bulk. It's also about the savings of that time when you're feeling lazy and you're like, oh, I'm just going to order out again, or I'm going to buy some pre-made meal at the grocery store. That's where the big savings are. If you can pull something out of your freezer instead of going and buying something that's twice as expensive, you're going to save so much money in the long term.
You have concrete examples. Take it away.
Yeah, so one of the first is butter, which I know we kind of take for granted, but butter often goes on sale and butter freezes like a dream. And also, if you are someone who makes a lot of baked goods, much like myself, maybe not the healthiest option, but a lot of times you can just grate frozen butter right into pie crust and things that you're doing that are supposed to be kept cold anyway. So butter is a great one. A little healthier here, I know you love avocados, I do too. We often see avocados go on sale in those big bags, and then, they go bad. We've had those brown avocados. That's always like the saddest thing when you open them up.
I bet about a third of fresh produce goes bad. That's the number that I've looked at. That's a lot of wasted money.
We've seen up to 50% in the U.S. of produce that is thrown away that we purchase. So that's the thing. You buy these avocados. They are a little more expensive than other produce, but you can actually freeze them. The thing to keep in mind is do not freeze them just as they are, because the texture will...
Not like this.
Exactly.
It doesn't work.
Avocados, as we all know, their texture, they can brown a little bit. So you want to mash it up, put a little bit of lemon in there to sort of help the citric acid. There you go. And when you put them in, the thing that you really want to keep in mind is that with the lemon and with your you want to jumble it up, and then we're just going to make sure that we get all of the air out. That is really the key to freezing avocado. We've all seen sort of what can happen when there's air on top of guacamole. So this is great. You can throw it on salads, you can throw it on top of a burger, but then you kind of always have avocado at the go. So this is great.
The lemon juice, it is the original preservative. Before they had all those chemicals, this is what our ancestors did. That's why it worked.
Exactly. The citric acid in there really helps. So do not skip the lemon juice on the step. The next tip that we have is eggs. Eggs are another thing that often you'll see them go on sale in big bulk, or you'll see that if you buy them like in the larger containers, they're even more on sale. So I love to make little mini frittatas and throw them in the freezer. The other thing that's great about mini frittatas is whatever is going bad in your fridge,
that's right,
throw them right into the frittata. And what's great about this is you cook them up, you can have them for breakfast today, and then you put them in the freezer. And what I love about these is, you take a couple of these out, you throw it into the microwave for just like 30 seconds, and you have breakfast. So this is one of the easiest things that you can do, especially I have 3 kids. I am often at a loss for what healthy thing I can make for them. This is one of my all-time go-tos.
This is one of Daphne's hacks. Works great with the grandkids.
Right, exactly, and all kids love it. Our last tip here is potatoes. We've all bought those huge bags of potatoes, especially at the holidays, and then you find them 6 months later, growing little things out of them.
Little buds.
So this exactly.
That doesn't mean they're bad.
No, you can still eat them, but it's good to sort of use them when you can, and also to save space. But what you want to do here is just make your regular baked potato, again, just like the frittatas, right? You can throw kind of whatever you have in your fridge on top, and then throw them into the freezer. And then when you're ready, you can have twice baked potatoes. And what's great about this is, again, you just throw them back in the oven. You don't have to do anything. Just stick them on a sheet tray, and you're golden. So this is a perfect, easy meal that you can have at any time without throwing away your potatoes.
And without sacrificing any taste. They taste just as good. Doesn't make a difference.
Right.
All right. Next budget item is to buy frozen fish. This is a big issue for me because it's so darn expensive to buy fish.
Yes.
Is the fish that we buy that's pristinely lying out there at the fishmonger fresh fish, or has been frozen?
Almost all of it has been frozen, and I think that's something that people sort of can't wrap their minds around. When fish, especially wild-caught fish, which we think of as being higher quality, when it's caught at sea, it is usually flash frozen, and that's in order to preserve the freshness.
Thank goodness.
Right? Exactly. That actually makes it fresher. So a previously frozen fish oftentimes is much fresher than a fish that was caught, has been flash frozen, then defrosted, and then now has been sitting out at the counter of your fishmonger for 1, 2, 3 days. If it's already frozen, then it's going to be good. So I like to cook things straight from frozen, which I think a lot of people think isn't possible, but really, really is.
So what's the price difference if you buy frozen versus fresh?
It can sometimes be half. You'll see sometimes salmon, $20 a pound, for a salmon that looks fresh, and you'll see $10 a pound. And often, that's the difference between farmed salmon and wild salmon. So you'll get the wild salmon for cheaper if you're willing to buy it frozen.
I'm in. Lynette, let me go back to you for a sec. What do you say buy bulk bin? These bulk bins all over the stores right now. Why is it a better deal?
Well, they're a great deal because you can get a lot of pantry staples there. Maybe that's granola that you and your family like, or just things like spices, much cheaper. So a lot of times, you might have a recipe that calls for just a pinch of something. Maybe you need a teaspoon, an ounce, 2 ounces, but instead of buying like a whole jar of, say, cumin or anything else, just literally buy the amount that you need in these bulk bins. You put them in a little plastic bag or in a little plastic container, take it to the cash register, save money because you haven't bought like an entire bottle of that spice or that pantry staple.
I like just opening the dispenser and letting it come out. I feel like it's the good old days. Anyway, let me give you one last tip.
Kind of fun.
When we come back, did you know that buying this baby right here, compared to this, will save you up to 50%? Look at that. Much better buy than this. You want to know why? Up next, the biggest budget hacks for one of the staple food items that you buy most, chicken. We are back with the Supermarket Squad, showing you the biggest budget hacks for people who hate coupons. Now, budget hacks for one of the most frequently bought items at the supermarket, chicken. You think you know all the shortcuts, but let me take you, Lynette's got some ideas you've never thought of. The first chicken hack, and this is going to help your budget big time, is to have some skin in the game. What does that mean?
That's right. It really boils down to buying the chicken that has the skin on it. I was out as part of the Supermarket Squad, Dr. Oz, looking at family packs of chicken thighs for me, my husband Earl, and my daughter Alexis. Well, I saw that the price for the skinless was $2.32 a pound, but the price for the chicken thighs that had the skin on it was 99 cents a pound. So a huge savings, and you know which one I bought, okay? I went with the 99-cent one per pound and saved money. We can keep it healthy. I just take the skin off myself, basically. So that's a really good tip for people to save money on, again, like you said, a staple chicken that a lot of us eat.
You also say we ought to buy the whole chicken rather than have it cut down into its parts. Is that a big difference? Much cheaper?
Very much cheaper. If you buy the whole chicken, you can typically save about 50% versus buying parts. And if you think about it, there's some logic behind this. There's been a butcher who's had to cut up all of those parts, the thighs, the breasts, the legs, etc. And so that cost of labor, that gets passed along to you as a customer. And, people don't really think about this when they're kind of making their own purchases, but there are trade-offs, right? Convenience and money, there's a trade-off, how much time you're willing to spend. Yeah. The USDA actually tracks this though, and they found that the average price per pound for whole chicken is about $1.42 a pound. And it's a range, obviously, based on where you live. It's anywhere from like a low of about 99 cents to as high as about $1.49. But somewhere in that 140-ish range is about the average price for whole chicken. And again, that's going to save you some money.
So if the whole chicken is too much, which it is for some folks, right, cooking for themselves or them and a partner, what's the cheapest part of the chicken to buy? Break it down for us.
So the most expensive one, first of all, is things like whole wings and the breast. And people probably know about that. But it's the leg quarters and the drumsticks that are typically the cheapest parts to buy. So that's where you're going to find your best value.
See, I personally think they're the best tasting parts, and they may even be the best for you, which is why it's shocking to me that it actually costs you less, because it's a good deal across the board. Allie, let me bring you into this. What are their additional nutritional benefits if you've got a little skin in the game for buying the whole chicken?
Right. Well, first of all, a lot of the things that we see that are fried are often those boneless parts. So you're not going to be as apt to go and fry something if it has bones in it. But second of all, like you said, those are my favorite parts because they actually keep the chicken more moist. So if you get used to cooking with the bone in, you're actually going to have much less dry chicken, and it'll be better across the board.
If you keep the skin on, I think it also helps with the moisture. I don't mind a little bit of skin. It's naturally there. Right. You're going to be adding butter and lots of junk on top of it to make up for the fact that you made it taste like cardboard anyway.
I was going to say, the skin is one thing, but when compared to like coating it with breadcrumbs and frying it, I mean, just eat the skin.
All right, for anyone, and save money. For anyone who's too intimidated to buy a whole chicken, we asked another member of our supermarket squad, our resident foodie, Chef Roble, to show us a simple way to cook a whole chicken. You're going to adore this.
Doc, I got the call. Chicken 2 ways. Indoor, outdoor. I got the outdoor, I got the indoor. There's a really nice grocery store right across that bridge. I'm on it.
Here I have 2 organic chickens. I'm removing excess skin and fat using some kitchen shears, and now I'm going to use those shears to remove the backbone of the chicken. That's going to help me to open it up, butterflying it. That allows for quicker and more even cooking. There you go, butterfly chicken. Flip that thing right over. And of course we have 2 of these, one to be cooked outdoors, one to be cooked indoor. Now it's situation marination. 1 cup of jerk seasoning, 1/2 cup of sweet chili sauce, 1 tablespoon of fresh thyme leaves. Now I'm whisking in 1/3 cup of oil. I'm using roasted garlic oil. You could use canola oil or vegetable oil or roasted garlic oil. Now we're gonna marinate the chickens. Go ahead and pour some of that marinade over there. Oh yeah. Stack and repeat. Situation marination. Oh yeah. Does that make you happy? That makes me happy. Now we have a 350-degree preheated grill. I'm cooking it on top of a pan. You can go direct if you want to. And a preheated oven at 350 degrees as well. Let's get that chicken in an oven. And hey, there we go. Cooked to an internal temperature of 165 degrees. That's the one that was on the grill. Yeah, hit that bad boy with some scallions. And the one that's in the oven, there it is right there. Looks a little different, cooked in a different way. Gonna carve this bad boy up. Look how juicy that is, right at 165. Little rice and peas, little collard greens, and oh yeah, everyone's gonna love you.
Thank you very much to our supermarket squad for all the hard work. And Allie's book is called Modern Freezer Meals. Check it out.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out on new videos to live the good life.